A pleasant afternoon to our esteemed speakers, faculty members, students, and guests from here and abroad. We are honored to have you join us for the 6th ilmu International Lecture Series, proudly organized by the USEP Language Students Society. Each year, ilmu continues to serve as a platform for exchange and collaboration, connecting scholars, educators, and learners across cultures and borders. What began as a simple academic gathering has grown into a dynamic tradition of dialogue, reflection, and discovery. And today, as we open our 6th installment, we celebrate once again the power of ilmu, knowledge, to connect minds and communities through language. I am your host, Kevin Lawrence E. Flores, and to start our program, I would like to invite everyone to join the opening prayer to be led by Mr. Ernest Adrian Canoy, a proud Subanen student of USEP, to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem and the USEP hymn via audio-visual presentation.
I welcome you to center yourselves in a way that is comfortable, whether through bowing your head, closing your eyes, or simply sitting quietly. Langit no nagama, inaot nag-ami pagtuo, nagbinigay ninyo sa nami, isan si pata no, si Kesat Kristo amig patad, huwag karalig si patal, dinasig sa namig puso, sugimod nagpalaan. Pagpuka pag-usab, rinig sa nami, si balaag paglaom, sa pagdating sa inyak kingharian. Ginoo, pasaylua kami sa among mga sala ug sa mga panahon nga dili kami makapalandong sa imong kaayo. Tabangi kami nga magpuyo uban sa kalinaw ug respeto sa matag usa, bisan lailahi among pagtuo ug kultura. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, sa pagkakataong ito na kami ay nagtipon upang matuto at magbahagi ng kaalaman. Salamat sa buhay at sa mga biyayang iyong pinagkaloob araw-araw. We humbly ask for your guidance as we begin this webinar. May this event be filled with understanding, unity, and inspiration. Bless every speaker, participant, and listener with open minds and compassionate hearts. May our words and actions today bring enlightenment and harmony among us all. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiling, dalas nagsilanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nanagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pangaw, ay hinatang tulakaw, isang pagkayang minamahal, ang isang patawad ko'y tagumpay na nag-iinig, ang bituin at parang na kailan ang may magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Ang higaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Tanging pamantasan naming mahal, tampok ng timog nilanaw. Ang liwanag mo ay aming ilaw sa labas ng karunungan. Isipin namin ang nasa iyong pangarap. Ang pag-asa at pag-ulan, lulunay at dalaw. Nangangaman siyang lakas, itong mayang ngayon bukas. Pamantasan namin dakila kayo, asing ibatis ka, lulong at Ang pangalan mo'y babandila ng batanghal nitong bansa. USDP pamantasan naming liha, handog sa'yo'y puri at bulaklak. Ang pangalan mo ay itatanyag, bandila mo'y itataas. Ang pangalan mo ay itatanyag, USDP naming liha.
To formally commence today's lecture series, we will hear words of welcome from someone who continues to support and guide our academic endeavors. Please welcome Dr. Nasirin Abdillah, Bahasa Melayu faculty at USEP and Associate Professor at the University Technology, Mara, Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. A pleasant afternoon to everyone. To our distinguished international lecturers, Dr. Rodney C. Jubilado from the University of Hawaii at Hilo, USA, Dr. Christoph Sapsky from Prince of Songkla University, Thailand, Dr. Andi Asrifan from Universitas Negeri Makassar, Indonesia, Dr. Mutmaina from Universitas Al-Sharia, Mandar, Indonesia, and Dr. Jacopo Castaldi from Canterbury Christchurch University, United Kingdom. We are deeply honored by your presence with us today. To Dr. Adora Zerudo, Director of the International Affairs Division, our faculty members, Language Student Society officers, and all AV English students and guests, welcome to the 6th International Lecture Series on Applied Linguistics, or ilmu. Today, we celebrate the importance of language as a bridge across cultures and as a powerful tool in shaping education and communication in our interconnected world. Applied linguistics continues to evolve, influenced by digital technology, global movements of people, and new ways of expressing meaning. This afternoon, we will explore two crucial areas of current linguistic research: phenotyping, AI machine translation in multilingual education, to be presented by Dr. Mutmaina, inviting us to rethink how technology can support linguistic diversity and equal access to learning. Second, media, discourse, and multimodality, to be discussed by Dr. Jacopo Castaldi, showing us how language expands beyond words into images, symbols, and multimodal communication. These lectures challenge us to consider how we, as emerging scholars and educators, can contribute to a future where communication is more inclusive, informed, and globally aware. I encourage everyone to listen actively, ask questions, and engage with our speakers. May today spark new ideas, new research interests, and new opportunities for collaboration. On behalf of the University of Southeastern Philippines and the Language Student Society, thank you for joining us and supporting initiatives that strengthen international academic exchange. Once again, magandang hapon, welcome, and may we all have a meaningful and inspiring session ahead. Maraming salamat po, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Abdillah, for that warm and inspiring message. Now, to inspire us even further, we will hear from a distinguished scholar whose work has contributed immensely to the field of applied linguistics. Let us welcome Dr. Rodney C. Jubilado, a proud USIP AB English alumnus, SPJRD advisor, an associate professor and Division of Humanities chair at the University of Hawaii, at Hilo, USA.
Aloha. Thank you, dear organizers, and all of you who are here. It's such a pleasure to welcome you all to this seminar. In a busy society, whether in the Philippines or here in America, every day we interact with AI systems, from voice assistants like Siri and Alexa to chatbots, translation apps, and even AI-generated art. Linguistics, on the other hand, helps us understand the structure, meaning, and use of language. AI gives us tools to model that understanding, to build systems that can respond, translate, and even generate human-like communication. And multimodality reminds us that communication is never just one-dimensional. It's not just on a screen or sound in your headphones. It's facial expressions, body language, visual cues, and cultural context. The seminar is about making connections between disciplines, between ideas, and between people. It's a chance to hear from researchers working at the cutting edge of these fields, to ask questions, share thoughts, and maybe even spark your own research ideas. So whether you are here to learn something new, to find inspiration, or just to see how AI and language intersect in the real world, you are in the right place. Thank you all for being here today. So in Hawaiian we say mahalo noi lua, and in Arabic wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jubilado, for that uplifting message. We are also privileged to hear from a leader who supports international engagement at our very own university. Let us welcome Dr. Adora Zerudo, Director of the International Affairs Division, USA. Now, before we move on to our main lectures, let us take a short break and enjoy special video presentations prepared by our talented students from the AB English Language Program. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I'm sorry, I was muted pala. I did not see it. I'm very sorry. So I'll repeat to the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Marnie Grace Sonico, the ever-supporting faculty lecturer from Technology Mara, Malaysia, Dr. Nasirin Abdillah, our guest speakers and lecturers, Dr. Rodney Jubilado from the University of Hawaii at Hilo, USA, Dr. Christoph Sabsky, Prince of Sangkla University, Thailand, from Dr. Andy Asrifan from Universitas Negeri, Makassar, Indonesia, Dr. Mothmaina from Universitas Al Asyariya Mandar, Indonesia, Dr. Jacobo Castolde from Canterbury Christchurch University, United Kingdom, especially to Dr. Sajid Ingilan, the proponent of this lecture series program. Faculty, staff, and students. I saw students coming from General Santos, my hometown, and students from University of Southeastern Philippines. A pleasant afternoon to all of us. As the University of Southeastern Philippines steadfastly advances its internationalization initiatives, we take pride in fostering meaningful engagements that bridge knowledge, culture, and collaboration across borders. So the ILMO International Lecture Series on Applied Linguistics embodies this very spirit, a commitment to continuous learning, intellectual exchange, and the celebration of linguistic diversity. guided by our objectives to remain abreast of global issues and trends in applied linguistics, and to engage with leading international scholars in research, development, and extension, we, the USEP, reaffirm our mission to nurture globally competent graduates and faculty who are responsive to the ever-evolving landscape of language and communication. Through this initiative, we continue to build a vibrant academic community that values ilmu, the pursuit of knowledge, as a transformative force for understanding and empowerment. By collaborating with distinguished scholars from Malaysia, we have from Thailand, Australia, Indonesia, USA, United Kingdom, and beyond, we not only strengthen our academic partnerships, but also contribute to the preservation, development, and sustainability of languages and cultures in Mindanao and the greater ASEAN region. So may this international lecture series remind us that education transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. Together, as learners, educators, and researchers, we embrace the power of dialogue, the beauty of diversity, and the shared responsibility of advancing knowledge for the betterment of humanity. So with every conversation and collaboration, we bring USEP closer to the world and the world closer to USEP. Congratulations to all of us. May God bless us all.
Daghang salamat, Dr. Zerudo, for those encouraging words, and we apologize for the error earlier. Now, before we move on to our main lecturers, let us take a short break once again and enjoy the special video presentations prepared by our talented students from the AB English Language Program. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
So many people would laugh and mock at us when we speak Tagalog, our accents real sus. We're not like you who's always into gossip. We're best in English, see it in our lips. Maybe you think that we are stupid, but actually we're more educated. Who's the best that you got anyway? You only have the vice while we got President A.
And when it comes to games or sporty flair, Rahalas Pasikipolo is best out there. In history, no one can top our man. The richest and most famous fool, Pac-Man. They keep saying that we have hard dictions, just jealous cause we're the champions. The strongest arms that you ever see, but our hearts are soft as they can be. Bisaya ko, respeto ko. Na Bisaya ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko. Buutan ko, Bisaya ko. Respeto ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko.
Bisaya that none can never beat. They're kind and true, their hearts are pure and sweet. Menozamis, Bohol, Cagayan, and Jensan. Leyte, Samar, Di Kulog, Basbati, Iligan. So many pretty girls and sexy faces. Chinitas, Morenas, Mestizas with graces. Dumaguete, Cebu, Davao, San Carlos, Zamboanga. We're gonna search for them if they want to know ya.
If you would like to hear a voice that is so fine, just ask Savannah by the shoe, needle shine. It dance for the stay groove, it's so much glee. And Zibade shake strong, wild and free. Bisaya ko, respeto ko. Na Bisaya ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko. Buutan ko, Bisaya ko. Respeto ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko. Kaming mga Bisaya isugog na ay prinsipyo, dili mahadlok bisagin sa ay lang hilap tininyo wanda mo tabang masabot o mo serbisyo kaliwat minidaboy o nilabulabuin yung bugal-bugalan unsa ngano nga man kita puro Pilipino nga nunid mag-away man dagan kaayo sa inyo nga mga tikasan sila dapat inyong bantayan dili pasagdahan si Duterte naning kamot para sa kaayuhan bisag delikado buhaton para natong tanan. I don't know why you're always blaming every time keep your mouth shut kung wakay makontribute nga nindot yo. Bisaya ko, respeto ko.
Bisaya ko.
Bisaya ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko. Buutan ko, Bisaya ko. Irespeto ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko. Kami mga Bisaya, isugog na ay prinsipyo. Dili mahadlok bisagit sa ay lang hilatin ninyo. Ang damot tabang mo sa botog, mo sa bisyo, kaliwat mini dagoy, og ni lapu-lapu, inyong bugal-bugalan. Kung sa ngano-ngano man, kita puro Pilipino, ngano need mag-away man. I don't know why you're always blaming every time. Keep your mouth shut kung waka mag-contribute nga nindot yo.
Bisaya ko, ang proud na Bisaya ko.
I won't waste the only time we got, and I'll spend it with you. I'll be there where things don't matter, right by your side. Whoa. And everlastingly you'll always be here with me. I've got my mama. Everywhere I'll be, you'll be where it'll be good. Whoa. Don't you worry now, close your eyes and take it slow. Oh, rest for now, lay it all on me. Don't you worry now, close your eyes and take it slow. Rest for now, lay it all on me. You have done so much more, take it home. Rest for now, lay it all on me. Rest for now, lay it on me.
Writing was a maze. But through the AB English Language Program at the University of Southeastern Philippines, new paths open for growth and discovery.
It was about learning the rules, but it turned out to be so much more.
Various courses like speech personalities, translation, intercultural communication, and language media.
The program holistically equips students with knowledge and skills to thrive both locally and internationally. We're also recognized by CHED as a center of development in English. Here, we take pride in nurturing excellence, innovation, and global competence.
Here, language isn't just about grammar. It's power, connection, and purpose, opening doors to the wider world of international academe. Research is also valued deeply, not just as a skill, but as a tool to create change, to reach beyond the classroom, into communities, ASEAN, and beyond. With dedicated faculty striving for excellence in fields like cultural studies, language and gender, English language teaching, and computer-mediated communication, the AB English Language program is unique for its blend of theory and practice, preparing students to be critical thinkers and versatile communicators in diverse fields. What began as a journey to improve writing, here at the AB English Language program at the University of Southeastern Philippines, will become a path to leading, connecting, and transforming.
We are the AB English language students, and this is where it begins.
With language as our foundation, our tool, our power, we speak, we grow,
and we do dreams without limits.
Do you think that enrolling in the Bachelor of Arts in English Language means you'll only learn English? Think again!
That's right. Here at USEM, you also get to learn foreign languages like Japanese, Basa Malay, and many others. So you're not limited to just one language. You're broadening your skills for a global world. Terima kasih.
And that's not all. As a JAD-recognized Center of Development in English, our program is built on excellence and drives students to go further. Through courses like language acquisition and business analysis, learners gain meaningful insights into how language use communication and behavior. With a strong foundation in linguistics from morphology, phonology, syntax, and semantics, students discover how language works not only in English but across the world's many languages.
Is teaching the only way?
Not at all. Yes, teaching is one option, but can also work as a content writer, editor, translator, or media, advertising, PR, government, and more. The career possibilities are wide open.
Exactly. Many graduates have gone on to work in top companies. Your language skills will open doors you didn't expect.
It's not just creative writing. You'll also learn how to write research papers, reports, and other non-literary texts which are highly valued in many fields. Plus, you'll also develop an appreciation for linguistic diversity and intercultural communication.
So is it really worth it? Should we invest our time in learning English and linguistics?
Absolutely. Let me give you a quick overview of what our course offers.
At the University of Southeastern Philippines, the Bachelor of Arts in English Language, majoring in Applied Linguistics, prepares you to be a globally competent communicator and cultural advocate. The program blends theory with practice, helping you master English for academic, professional, and social contexts, while deepening your appreciation of the Philippines' indigenous languages and cultures.
And here's the best part. Our professors are experts who are active researchers, published in major journals. So you will learn from the top minds in this field. So why wait? Join the Bachelor of Arts in English Language, majoring in Applied Linguistics at University of Southeastern Philippines.
Your language adventure
Starts here at the University of Southeastern Philippines.
Where learning leads,
Passion and excellence.
Thank you for those wonderful presentations. It's always wonderful to see the creativity and passion of our multi-talented AB English students beyond the realm of linguistics. At this juncture, let us embark on the lecture proper, where we ignite the spirit of ilmu, or knowledge, by exchanging and sharing linguistic insight. To formally introduce our first international lecturer, let us call on Ms. Somaya Tambuco, University of Mindanao instructor.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I am enlightened to welcome and announce our first speaker for this webinar. We have Dr. Muthmaina. Dr. Muthmaina is a lecturer at the Universitas Al Asyariya Mandar in West Sulawesi, Indonesia. She also serves as the adjunct professor in the Department of Education at Manipal Global Next University, Malaysia. She's an accomplished educator and researcher with interest in English education, second language acquisition, and pedagogy, media and technology teaching, and cybergogy. Dr. Mathmaina has also an extensive record of publications in international journals and books focusing on AI-driven teaching models, metaverse, ecosystems, and the integration of sustainable development goals in education. In addition to her academic work, she serves as a session chair for the International Conference on Data Analytics and Management, or ICDAM, in 2024. She's also an editor, reviewer, and a committee member of various international academic boards and conferences. Let us all warmly welcome Dr. Muthmaina. Welcome, Doctor. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang. Good afternoon, everyone. Mabuhay. Okay. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I'm really happy to meet you all of you here in this forum. This is my first time to joining you in virtually a collaboration with my university, but we are already having ongoing so many projects, so many collaboration, inshallah. I want to say thank you very much to the user principal, academician, the student, and also my dear brother, Saja Tingilan, for having me and invite me here, for you giving me the opportunity to joining and giving my, let me say this is my research about phenotyping, artificial intelligence, machine translation in multilingual education. So allow me to share my screen. Please make me co-host to sharing my PPT to all of you. Also, one of the project together with Professor Saja Singilan, we invite him as our keynote speaker to Bali, Indonesia. So welcome, Professor, inshallah. And then this is the first and never stop collaboration between us, inshallah. Can you allow me to share my screen? Hello? Because this is disabled to sharing my PPT to all of you. Yeah, still disabled. So Maya, ma'am, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes, Doctor. I will coordinate
Yeah.
technical team.
Thank you.
We apologize for the delay po, and we are working on it po, and please just stand by as we work on it. Thank you po.
Okay, while we are waiting, maybe I will introduce a little bit about my topic today that I'm going to share to all of you about the phenotyping, artificial intelligence, machine translation in multilingual education. This is especially for my student in learning English in Indonesia. I don't know in Philippines, but in my university, because we don't have English education, we only have Indonesian language department. So mostly the student already not low motivation to learn English. And then we need to also having so many creativity, teaching model, media and the technology to make them interesting and love English language. This is the situation in my university, and of course, this is different with your university, USEP University, because you have English education, English program, study program. So this is a quiet challenge in my university if we want to make them more fluent in English. And then the motivation to learn this is very low. There are so many challenges, yeah. Not only about the motivation, also the teacher, the educator, they are already don't know um, how to teach, uh, how to training the student by using some of the technology and also some of the, yeah, for right now, the trending technology already artificial intelligence. So that's why we try so many creativity, so many strategy to make them stand by in the class because they don't like English language. Yeah. So in this project, we already setting that about by using artificial intelligence as a machine translation. We have some of tools or platform like Chichibut or maybe ChatGPT that we are already used in the classroom. But before we are talking and discuss how everything this is changing the multilingual in the class, so let me share one by one the topic to you. The first one maybe about the phenotyping. Yeah, I will like to share into you about the concept of the phenotyping, and then this is related about how we are already describing the student behavior when they are having right now to be adapt with the new technology, new habit by using technology in our classroom. And then this is not only about for the student, but also we invite the educator and the teacher also more better to learn and jumping from traditional teaching model into modern teaching model like by the intervention of artificial intelligence. And there are some of the artificial intelligence already we training to our educator and the teacher. But I think this is not enough. The very important this is we have already identify what kind of the student learning style. Like in Indonesia, most of our students they are um, visual, yeah. They are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And when we are already invite them to joining our class by using YouTube, for example, as one of the content of our material, it will be more help them to imitation the native language, how to pronounce the words of the vocabulary. This is the situation in my student. So digital phenotyping also, we wanna share into you that by using this technology, we already want to all of our students they can improving their personalized learning behavior or student self-direct and self-determined in learning. I think this is also more, we can be highlight that for today, not only about we are mastering so many artificial intelligence platform or the technology, but we need to be also improving our artificial intelligence literacy or the technology literacy because yeah, you know the limitation of this technology already representing to all of us the bias and the fake information already there. So let's see about the artificial intelligence becoming as a machine translation in education. Yeah, in this project, we already invite the teacher for using some of the machine translation like Google Translation, yeah, or they can be used like ChatGPT of DeepL. This is we invite them to do the collaboration to make our classroom more faster to understand the material in our class. So, like you see here that this some of the platform already facilitate multilingual communication. In Indonesia, the very familiar and the famous this is a Google Translation, and also we use Chichi Booth. This is artificial intelligence chat booth. You can open in Google Play Store and Chichi Booth, CC Booth. This is already there, and a CC Booth available with 10 language. This is very wonderful platform because this is free. The student only connecting to the internet, so it already working. This is different with ChatGPT or Gemini or another platform. They are having limit access. So the benefit and the challenge, this is about accessibility and inclusion for language learning that, yeah, you know about the present accuracy and context challenge that already face when we are want to use this or implementation the artificial machine in this project in the class. So this is the example of because my area we are a teacher training, so we are training the teacher here, and the teacher already representing the CC booth in the classroom like you see in this video. We already invite them to joining us to practically use the CC booth in the classroom. Wait me to resend again my PPT because the voice already missing. Sorry. Wait me to resend again. Yeah. This is available. Can you see? Oh, no voice, yeah. See no voice. Wait. Wait me. Sorry for this inconvenience. Allow me to resend again. Yeah. I hope the voice will be listening from your side. Oh my God, I don't know. Yeah, can you hear the voice? Hello? No, nothing.
Dearest Professor, yes, we can hear it.
Oh, you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this project that you see here, the student already doing interaction with the CC booth, and you see that they are in bilingual. Yeah, they are use Indonesian and then use English. So this is the student from junior high school. So we introduce to all of the student how to use this technology, and then how this is help the student to learn more better in English class. Yeah.
For me, GT application is good application. I like it because I can practice my English. Thank you, Cici. Thank you, Miss. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Masarina and I'm from class 8B. So today, I want to give information about this application. This application is namely Cici. Cici is an application that will help my activity because Teaching can help with everything, whether it's lesson or daily life. Besides that, teaching can develop my English. If I ask something, teaching can answer me like this. Cici, how many planets in universe?
The universe is an incredibly vast place, Arna, and estimating the exact number of planets within it is quite challenging. However, astronomers have made remarkable discoveries beyond our solar system. As of now, they have identified approximately five.
Yeah. This is our project that we are training the teacher, and after that, the teacher already implementing this CC booth in their class. So yeah, there are so many benefits that already supporting by using this AI machine translation in the classroom. And also in my class in the higher education that you see here, even the student having the smartphone and the artificial intelligence, but we already invite them to critically to critically analyzing what is already representing from the artificial intelligence or the machine translation already representing there. So in this situation that you see, we invite the student to working in group because in our concept, in my concept, that the student, even they are learning English, this is not enough. We need to also support the student for the soft skill like 21st century skill. Like you see here, they are doing collaboration, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and then doing innovation in the class. So we invite them to having this, and when we are compared with another country like Kuwait, and also this is relative the similar, we have a similar findings about artificial intelligence. So what about in the our classroom? Like we see here that we representing multilingual in the class that you see here. Why we must be transformation our class from traditional into the namely modern class by using artificial intelligence, for example, because right now we are in the era of the globalization, and then we need to be faster to understanding everything in the short time. And then we need also having that artificial intelligence machine translation with the language gaps that already there are many challenges when we are doing interaction with the another country, for example. And then we already invite the student among students to speak different native language. So and in the one of the university that already, for example, here that they are already facilitating multilingual collaboration effectively, like in our class that even we are invite the student to understanding about the English, but also we invite them to learn another language, for example, like Arabic language. So in the current trend in artificial intelligence machine translation for education that we see right now about the communication, this is the very important skill that most of the students having anxiety when they want to do communication or practically use their communication. And then we already invite the student to joining some of the collaboration, like we are invite them to presenting their proposal, their thesis in another country. This is to support them, to make them increase their confidence, and then to be a role model to another student that how this language very important for today, and how this technology really help them to making them already doing practice, non-stop practice, anytime and anywhere by using this technology. So let's see about the how this already the history of the machine translation until right now we having namely a multilingual model, because we see that this technology already present so many benefit, and then sometimes there we also having challenge when we want to presenting this technology in our class. Oh, wait. Okay. Sorry. Wait. This is already. Yeah. Because we have some of the project already by using this machine translation, yeah. And then let's see about the real-time multilingual group. Yeah, we see here that, for example, in some of the university already support by using machine translation. And then you see here that it already representing about the synchronous discussion for the student. And what about the growing of the multilingual artificial intelligence tools, yeah, in the class that you see here that there are three taxonomy that representing here about the teaching interaction and specialized translation and computational linguistic. The computational linguistic, this is also very important when we want to drive in the machine translation capabilities in our classroom. Yep. Right now that we see about the what kind of the phenotyping of artificial intelligence or machine translation. Machine translation already representing like Google Translation, for example, or DeepL, or many platform in the Google Play Store that maybe your student already downloaded. And what about artificial intelligence? This is artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, Gemini, or another language model already representing as a machine translation there. So we need to be also understanding before we are practically use this artificial intelligence or machine translation about the weakness, about the limitation of this technology, because sometimes that we find some the error grammatical over there. This is already also happening in our classroom, so that's why we need to be also invite the student to do correction and analyzing about the content that already sharing by this machine translation in this case. So what about the phenotyping to inform the pedagogy that you know that, and you see here that this strategy already to invite the student to do translation. But I think that the translation, this is not only when we want to having or we want to know about the target language, and then how about we understanding the content of that we want to understand about the text of the material, but we need to be also know and identify the vocabulary. For example, maybe this machine learning already just only representing the common vocabulary. For example, yeah, we will see some of the example how this already technology having some of the mistake, yeah, in the next slide. So tailored strategy, we need to be also in fight that you already designing the new teaching model by using this artificial intelligence or machine translation. Reflective learning, yeah, of course, because by student after doing post editing, this is representing not only the artificial intelligence content over there, this is already representing by designing from human intelligence and the artificial intelligence over there. This is when we are in the post editing phase. So student development, yeah, of course, this is they will be having independent language competence. Let me check about this is the example when the student doing translation, yeah, in the class. They are screening the text by using their phone. Then automatically by this phone, the technology will be already representing the the language, for example, from English to Indonesian language, and then the student doing editing again, and they will be post in English again. So it need more not only about the use of the technology in the classroom, but also how we are the teacher as a human representing there to do correcting and feedback, direct feedback with the student work. Oh, this is not working. Yeah, sorry. Okay, right now we are talking about the challenge and about the computational linguistic and the challenge in multimodality. We need to be also understanding about the concept of computational linguistic, and this is already when we are use computer, or maybe right now we mention the computer. This is the smartphone, yeah. And let's see about what about right now the challenge that we already having when we want to already invite and use this in our classroom. The first one about accurate machine translation, yeah. This is across the files of linguistic types, and also we need to be having the semantic disambiguity, and also cross linguistic, yeah, like lexical, visual, or auditory. So that's why by representing this, by using this machine translation, this is already happening. The student also can use voice to text, text to voice. This is the example when we want to having the when we want to use this machine translation in our classroom. Yeah, let's see about the real time of computational linguistic in education. Let's see what about the educational translation already representing about the syntactic or the morphological analysis. This is already happening there. And what about the semantic, this ambiguity? This is already we need to be also having this concept that in the real-time communication, the student understanding all of this, not only just translation the text from English to Indonesian, for example. So this is the contextual and cultural nuance in integration, and sometimes the machine translation doing wrong translation. Yeah, for example, like some of the idiom here, literal translation and actual meaning. Sometimes when we use machine translation or artificial intelligence translation here, already happening that I mentioned before. Sometimes they don't identify the actual meaning uh, about like idiom or a literal translation. So yeah, this is the weakness when we use this machine translation. Yeah. So what about ethical privacy and concern when we use this technology? Of course, about the data, yeah. We about the security. I think that when we want to implementation this strategy in our class, you must be understanding about the ethical and privacy concern, like the bias propagation or bias information will be happening there. So yes, there are some of key limitation when we are use artificial intelligence machine translation in our class. For example, pedagogical accuracy issue of machine translation. Yeah, about the error. Yeah, that I mentioned before. Sometimes they are doing mistake when they are already want to translate the idiom, for example. Subject specific terminology error, yeah, or mistranslation. Academic discourse complexity of that machine translation already fails to capture like complex syntax. And the last about assessment authenticity. Yeah, sometimes they are having high mistake about linguistic. So that's why we need to validation from the teacher when already the student having post editing. But the benefit this study already that the student and the teacher already increased their post editing skill. Post editing skill, this is already very important for the writing. If you want to improve your writing skill, maybe you write the article, for example. Yeah. And the target solution for this key limitation that we need to be developing machine translation model specific for training. Yeah, we need to be training our student and educator and blended human artificial intelligence approach. That's why I mentioned before that human intelligence and artificial intelligence must be doing collaboration, not about we compare between human and between the artificial intelligence. That we understand right now the human with artificial intelligence more power than the human without artificial intelligence. So adaptation of the assessment, yeah, maybe for example by assessment test that we need to invite the student to do the assessment to answer the assessment by critical thinking. So this is also the challenge when we already invite the student to having this machine in our classroom, because when we ask the student to answer the question, they will be directly find the answer because they are use artificial intelligence. So that's why this is the challenge and how we invite them to having critical thinking and to do critically the content or our material over there that I already show my class to all of you. Even they should having the artificial intelligence, but also we invite them to do critically and analyzing together with their friends. Yeah, about right now, what about integration with existing educational technology? Yeah, maybe we have critical gap right now about the standardization. Yeah, like our learning management system, and then maybe like video conference like Zoom right now already having artificial intelligence. We can also managing some of the language over there, yeah, or maybe Microsoft Team and Google Meet. And we see about usability challenge for educator and the student, of course, because yeah, when we are talking about the technology, this is related to the namely internet connection or infrastructure and the technical complexities here about how we are facilitating the student with the good infrastructure. Yeah, training, we need to be also training the teacher and educator. Uh, Maybe for example about our reliance and pedagogical gaps here, that when we are invite the student and they are right now becoming independent on by using this machine learning or this artificial intelligence potential, that we need also invite them to having their motivation to learn. Yeah, we that I mentioned before in the my opening for my presentation, that mostly the student in Indonesia. Yeah, maybe if we see the PISA ranking, yeah, you know, Indonesia is still low in English. Yeah, that's why because most of about the student, there are low motivation to master this language because of for example, teaching strategy mostly by grammar, and then we need right now the student not only learning only for grammar, but how they are already helping their understanding and motivation to learn English. This is very important. Experimental insight, let's see here about the comparative study between artificial intelligence machine translation by the human translation quality. Yeah? Totally, I'm just want to say that human accuracy, this is already, we need to be doing collaboration between human and machine. That we see here that human accuracy, human translator outperform with artificial intelligence in culture and idiomatic accuracy. This is we already want to um, having that um, in our the same mindset that artificial intelligence or the machine translation, this is only the tools, only the technology that we can use in our classroom. So what about implementation, the context of artificial intelligence or machine translation as our bilingual tutor, like in Indonesia, they are becoming virtual robot tutor, yeah, because most of the students still low. So that's why we are representing by translanguage. We combine between not only one language, Indonesia and English, but also we use a local language to make them more understanding about the content or our material. So positive outcome, yeah, by this participation of multilingual that already, yeah, the student having demonstrate the positive impact of inclusion and participation. The student from diverse linguistic background to engaging and more confident in the classroom. So this is also we identify the student need, yeah, like improve the student contextual accuracy and comprehensive between both of the student and tutor. Maybe I will windy my presentation about the future strategy, yeah? About the pedagogical strategy for the next, about how we use this technology in our classroom. The very important, this is about we are happy matching between our material and our curriculum, yeah. Educator training or teacher training, this is very important. That's why we are already in having a collaboration with the school. So we training the teacher community, and they will be implementing all of this thing to for the student in the class. So this is best practice for Asian context, yeah, like recognize linguistic diversity. Just we having for Asian, that you know it will be encompass 200 of language requiring tailored approach. So yeah, maybe because like in Indonesia we have so many local language, and then only focus for the international language, only focus for English. And also right now we are already training the student to understand another language, like Arabic language or Mandarin language by using this machine translation. So address infrastructure, yeah, because about the connectivity, Indonesia, my country, this is very big, the member of population. 50% area in Indonesia, we are in the blank spot, no internet connection, and this is we have so many challenge when we want to practically use this technology in our class or in the school or in the university. Addressing ethical and privacy issue that yeah we need support from government and also bias mitigation, yeah, and then student protection, yeah, the data, this is about the data security for the student. So what about we are expanding multilingual education access, yeah, because we having right now democratizing access to quality of education. We need our education more sustainability, and then we want to do having transformation in our education. So that's why, for example, what should we do? Yeah, what should we do for meta communication tool that we invite you also to yeah to training use some of these machine translation or artificial intelligence translation tools like Google Translate. Yeah, I think this is very famous and familiar with Indonesian student. I don't know about Baidu Translate. Maybe in Philippines, you are familiar with some of these and we can use like ChatGPT, of course. This is very excellent AI when we want to use as the technology and the tools in our learning. So the future classroom, this is when we are blending between human linguistic. I think that it will be mostly right now adaptive with intelligent about the communication. Yeah, it will be we understanding more about the cultural context, delivering increasingly personalized translation support. So in our project that when the student already familiar by using artificial intelligence technology, and then we already invite the student to working by themselves, they already familiar how to do. After they are screening the text, they are know about the meaning and the translation, and they are doing post editing of the text. Yeah, this is the building your translation skill. Yeah, this is some of the tips if you want to building your student translation skill. Immerse yourself in the language, practice translation exercise, seek the student feedback. Yeah, maybe this is a post editing again after the student practically they are writing their concept, their text, and then post editing, and we do evaluation. Stay updated with the language trend. Yeah, maybe the example like the idiom, yeah, that I already shared to you. Collaborate with native speaker and use translation tools. Yeah, I think about this one. How do we overcome this challenge? Yeah, create glossary. Yeah, for example, we retrain machine translation and adapt with a guile, a method. Thank you for having me and listening to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mutmaina, for that insightful discussion. Indeed, your lecture reminds us how technology and language continually shape one another in today's multilingual world. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Welcome. Terima kasih.
Now, since language and technology foster connection with people across the globe, we will now proceed to the Open Forum, which is spearheaded by Michael Sam Montesilio, LSS Internal Vice President.
Thank you so much for your attention so far. This is your chance to ask questions, share insights, or raise any points related to the lecture of Dr. Muthmaina. Please use the raise hand feature or type your questions in the chat box below, as we will address them one by one if the time permits. Let us now begin. Okay, uh, Mr. Russell J. Aporbo, you are now recognized. Please turn on your mic.
All right, thank you so much for recognizing me. Good afternoon, Dr. Mutmaina. Can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, you have mentioned earlier in your lecture that there were so many challenges when it comes to the use of artificial intelligence, this AI machine translation in classroom settings. Since um, you have mentioned here that the classroom is multilingual and a lot of students speak different languages in the classroom. As we know that language classroom is a melting pot of diverse culture and diverse languages. Now, may I know your insights or your experience when it comes to addressing the challenge of low resource language or indigenous languages in order to address the misrepresentation of cultural and contextual nuances in your classroom in using the AI machine translation?
Okay, should I answer now the question? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, dear Russell, for your question about how we already overcome the challenge when we are use this artificial intelligence. The first one because the student, like in my class, they are not familiar with the post editing. Yeah, we identify the problem. They already just getting the translation from English to Indonesia. They are just copy paste this sentence or the text, for example. So in this study in our project, because this is still ongoing project between my student and my magister student, we already invite them to use this machine translation in the class. We free invite the student. They can be used like Google Translation because Google Translation they are familiar by screen training. Yeah? If they want to use like a Chat GPT or Gemini or another artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence translation this is different with machine translation. Yeah, so they must be copy the text, photo the text. Yeah, and then they are insert to the Chat GPT. By using Google Translation, they are very easy to use because they just yeah, like you see in the video. Yeah, they just screening the text and automatically they are already translate. But the challenge, this is that I mentioned before. So that's why we invite them to working in group because yeah, that I mentioned before in English, in teaching English or in learning English, this is not about our student. We invite them to master the English itself, to master about the grammar and many more. But we invite them to improving the student 21st century skill and artificial intelligence literacy. This is very important for the student in English. So that's why in the classroom, we invite them to working in group that I already shared to you, my videos. We invite the student to working in group. After that, they are already having the text from the Google translation, like from English to Indonesia. Yeah, they read and they are doing editing. After that, we invite the student also to make them into English by using the same Google Translation. What we are doing, because you know Google Translation have limitation about the language, about the grammar. So that's why the feedback from the teacher already the teacher do evaluation by using Grammarly, for example, and After we getting the correct grammarly and the teacher also there to do a feedback, the student doing again post editing. So there are some the process when we are already implementation this machine translation, or maybe we use artificial intelligence translation in the class. Not only directly the student getting the meaning from the text, they just copy paste. No, we invite them to do critically, to analyze, and then they are representing their understanding about the text. So after they are doing translation, of course, we invite the student to sharing their interpretation or the reflection about the text. So in English, of course, yeah, because when we are already in this translation class, we invite them also to sharing their understanding about the text by using their English language. So yeah, I think this is my my practically used when we are use this machine translation or artificial intelligence translation in our class. Thank you.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mutmaina. And yeah, same with our case here in the Philippines because I'm also a language teacher. And basically, if we use Google Translation in our classroom setting, there are so many instances wherein inappropriate translation would be given by the platform itself. And thus, at the end of the day, we teachers should really evaluate and would really ask our
Yeah.
learners to reconsider first the output provided by the platform or by the artificial intelligence so that we could really counter check if this is suitable to our context. Again, thank you so much for your insights on sharing your practices when it comes to the use of machine translation in the classroom. Thank you once again.
My pleasure. Now we have some.
Thank you for that, Mr. Aporbo and Dr. Musmaina. Let us now call on Nice Tubo. Yes, you are recognized. Please open your cam and unmute your mic.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are Miss Tubo.
So good afternoon, Dr. Masbaina. Thank you so much for your inspiring lecture. We really appreciate it. For my question, with the growing use of AI translation tools in language learning, do you think they help students learn more effectively, or might they actually reduce students' motivation to engage deeply with the language? And
Okay.
I'm really curious to know, how do you see the balance between using AI as support
Yeah.
and becoming too dependent on it in terms of language learning?
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. I think this is a wonderful question also. To answer your question, let me I share my project from the questionnaire, yeah? Because I don't want to sharing to you based on my interpretation, yeah? This is from our project. We already sharing the questionnaire while they are having working with artificial intelligence as machine translation. Right now, we have 135 answer from the student. Actually, our target 700. We're still waiting their answer of their response, yeah, from the student, yeah. You can see here some of the school already we invite to practically use this artificial intelligence machine translation. Yeah. Yeah, this is to answer your question. The use of translation robot, this is easy to understand English material. Most of them, yeah, they totally agree, strongly agree. Only few mention no, only one student, two student, yeah, from 135. I believe human robot, yeah, this is used here bilingual, yeah. Collaboration supports smoother communication, yeah, because in working in the classroom, they are doing critically and analyzing, so that's why this is not only improve the student translation skill or post editing skill, but also the student communication and collaboration among the student uh, in this project that you see 80 more than 80% they are totally agree, because this is strongly agree and agree. The robot, yeah, the robot we mentioned, this is robot or the machine translation reduce misunderstanding uh, caused by a language barrier, yeah, mostly. Yeah, totally that we see here the student feedback right now because we are still waiting. Yeah, most of them totally believe and totally agree and have positive feedback about by using this artificial intelligence in the classroom with our strategy. They are not only copy paste but also doing so many, still having so many activities. They are still discuss with their friend, feedback from the teacher, and after that they doing editing, post editing, and then yeah, I think it will be help them to totally more improving their English because of these activities. Yeah, they are more confident to participating in class by using translation robot or the machine translation. Yeah, it will almost 70% of the student totally agree. Yeah? I feel using translation save time, of course. Yeah. Totally, we have 20 question here related about their confidence. Yeah. But let's see here. Human teacher and robot complement each other effectively in translation task. Yeah, the student already having the answer almost. Yeah, this is almost 90%. Robot reduce anxiety in speak because they are having good material, good topic to discuss with their friend about the analyzing of the text. Of course, this is also improving their speaking with their friends when they are working together. They are doing working in the group to make them more actively to practically use their language. So translation robot help the student to be more learning and rather than worrying about the language. Yeah, yeah. When we see all of the student answer, mostly totally 80%, they are respond very positive. So let's waiting because this is still ongoing project. My project, my target this is 700 student. Yeah, this is just only the embryo of the student response. Yeah, totally improving their motivation to learn English. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's actually good that there's a positive impact with the use of AI translation tools in terms of their language learning. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tubo and Dr. Busmaina. Let us call on another hand. Yes, Ms. Kyla Nadine Gamir, you are recognized. Please open your cam and unmute your mic.
Good afternoon, Dr. Mutmaina.
Hi.
I enjoyed listening to your discussion. So my question is, what long-term effects might the integration of AI translation and digital phenotyping have on equity and personalized learning and education? Can they make education fairer, more tailored, and more responsive to individual students' needs?
Already all of you mentioned totally the student already have positive feedback about this is tailored, this is improving their personalized learning because after they having they already follow the activities in the classroom, so they doing by themselves in the at their home, yeah, to making understanding about the material because the right now the student already some of the school, not some, many, I think many, in Indonesia, in my district, I'm totally talking about my district here. In my district, Um, some of the school already forbidden the student to working with artificial intelligence. They are forbidden the student to bring the smartphone in the classroom. Unfortunately, this is I totally disagree. Yeah, because for today we must be also training our student how to use this technology because our student today in the front of us we must prepare their future career for 5, 10, 50 years, 15 years next. Yeah. This is not only for today. So when they don't know how to learn, how to use this technology to improving their personalized learning, tailor their study, it will be make them more how to say they cannot be also doing or practically working in effective and efficient way. So that's why by totally using this technology already, the student feedback we see here, this is already reduce the student anxiety, reduce their stress how to learn English. Yeah. Yesterday also maybe you can see in my Facebook, or if you don't have my Facebook, please follow me. Yeah. Yesterday I already training my student to doing practically their speaking by using Lola artificial intelligence. You can download it in Google Play Store also. Lola already representing human, and then they are totally doing conversation with the student by bilingually English and Indonesia. After that, this application invite the student to speak. So the student press the mic and they are speak follow the text, and after that, this machine will be do correction with the student pronunciation. Your pronunciation incorrect. Please repeat again until the student learning by doing in the class, and we forget about the time yesterday because they are totally busy by using their smartphone. They are playing with the smartphone, but totally they are learning. They are very interesting how to solve the problem about the pronunciation by using this application until their score increase into 100. So after that, we invite them again to increase into the next level. So totally the student after they are understanding how to working with artificial intelligence in the class, they are totally bring this habit into their themselves. They are totally know, oh, right now, if I want to improve in my pronunciation, my speaking, I use Lola. I use Lola application. Or when I want to uh, understanding about the material translation, I use Google Translation or translation or artificial intelligence translation. Or when I want to improve my grammar, I use NDAI. This is the example. So the student with training them how to solve their problem by themselves, not only totally depend on the teacher, on the book, and on us, for example. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for answering my question, Dr. Matmaina.
Welcome. So many questions.
Thank you for that, Ms. Gamir and Dr. Musmaina. However, due to time constraints, uh, at, let us accommodate just one last question.
Okay. Don't worry, I will be in Philippines next month.
Let's call on Miss Ashley Kate Lerog.
Yes.
Please turn on your microphone and turn on your camera. Thank you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Dr. Matmaina.
Hey, selamat.
Here's my question po. So, basing on the current AI engines being produced like Google's Gemini or even Microsoft's Copilot, Being a holistic and multi-use tool, what strategies would be appropriate in introducing these tools in a classroom with students who have had limited exposure to such programs?
Okay. Yeah, the strategy, yeah, learning by doing, yeah, trial and error. Yeah, for educator, you must also training yourself before you are ready implementation in the class. Like I mentioned before, because I am in the teacher training faculty, so that's why we have project with the teacher in the school. We training them how to use, how to teach, and how they are training their student to use this technology, and then after that, we invite them to implementation in the classroom and doing documentation that you see in my PPT. And also, if you follow me on Facebook, I already all of totally my project over there. So the first one, the strategy, I think you are familiar with TPEC, yeah, TPEC, Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge, yeah. The very important, this is how we are connecting between our material and the technology that we want to use. For example, today you want to having the student Google translation. You invite the student like we see in the reality in the class. We invite the student to choose whatever they like their the artificial intelligence or machine translation. As you know, a student mostly totally still use the, I think this is still traditional machine translation because use Google Translation. But this is very practice to the student. Even we have right now ChatGPT, Gemini, or many more, because the practice, they just training by phone and totally this is translate. So that's why they are go back to machine translation, not artificial intelligence translation, because they have time. They photo the text and they are insert to the phone or the laptop and then upload it to ChatGPT. This is takes too much time. And then ChatGPT, if you don't have premium or Gemini in premium or another application in premium, it will be make you, yeah, having the challenge when with this limitation. But Google Translation don't have limitation. You can do many more again and again. You can yeah, practically use many more by using this unlimited benefit from Google Translation. So that's why when we see in the reality, oh my God, we introduce the student by how to use ChatGPT, how to use Gemini, and blah blah blah. Or they are just choose. Yeah, I think this is traditionally a machine translation. So I think maybe you can also dam me with our project maybe in Philippines, so you can see also about the student behavior, but maybe in Indonesia behavior different with in Philippines, yeah. But let's see. This is the strategy. Connecting between the material, the technology, this is a very important. So designing the interactional teaching model. Yeah. That's why I mentioned before, we already want to, all of the educator master namely TPEC, technology, pedagogical content knowledge, because this strategy already invite the educator how they are connecting and matching and how they are designing the interactional teaching model, how you are designing step-by-step activities to cover the student competence. So that's why in our project, we not only get the information about the student the student translation skill, but also post editing skill, the student communication, the student collaboration in the classroom. I think there are many variable raised, the variable already we see when we are observation the classroom. The student not only improve their translation competent, their post editing skill also increase, their critical thinking also increase, their collaboration, analytical thinking. I think this is a very good situation uh, before the student only copy paste the text to Indonesian, for example. I think maybe you can try. So the interactional design, this is very important. And after that, the assessment. What kind of the assessment that you choose? Right now, the challenge. We have the challenge right now. If you give the student the test, the assessment, they already quickly understand and get the answer because the artificial intelligence. So that's why after they getting all of the information from artificial intelligence, you invite them to critically, to analyzing, to paraphrasing, to sharing their knowledge, to sharing their ideas by themselves. So I think this is will be improving the student communication skill, public speaking, and this is very important for the student in English department. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your insightful response, Dr. Mataina.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lerog and Dr. Mustaina, and thank you so much for the participants who have who have raised their questions.
Another question, then another participant. Yeah. So many.
No more participants.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Dr. Musmaina, for answering the questions with your knowledge and expertise. Now let me give the floor back to Mr. Kevin Flores.
Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Dr. Mutmaina, and thank you to everyone who participated in our engaging discussion. Now, before we proceed, let us first present the certificate of recognition to our distinguished lecturer in recognition of her invaluable contribution to the 6th Ilmu International Lecture Series. Let me read the citation. University of Southeastern Philippines Certificate of Participation is presented to Dr. Mutmaina of Universitas Al Azraya Mandar, Indonesia, for sharing her time and expertise as resource speaker on the topic Phenotyping AI Machine Translation in Multilingual Education during 6th Ilmu International Lecture Series on Applied Linguistics, held on October 24, 2025, via Zoom, issued on the 24th day of October 2025, USEP, Davao City, Philippines. Signed by Sajid S. Ingilan, AB English Language Program Head and SPJRD Chief Editor. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Mutmaina. Now let us capture this meaningful moment by having our photo opportunity. May we kindly request that everyone turn on their cameras if possible. All right, let's have our photo opportunity. 1, 2, 3, and smile. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Now, before we proceed, I have an important announcement. This Zoom call will end at 3 p.m., and once that happens, please just rejoin using the same link. We humbly apologize for this inconvenience and see you on the next link once again. Thank you very much, and again, we are humbly apologizing for this inconvenience.
Terima kasih and see you again ya.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our insightful lectures because the learning never ends. Let us keep the spirit of ilmu alive and burning. Now, to introduce our next international lecturer, let us call on Mr. Carl Templado, Masters of Applied Linguistics student at USEP.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce our second lecturer, Dr. Jacopo Castaldi. He is a senior lecturer in the School of Social Work, Education, and Teacher Education at Canterbury Christchurch University, United Kingdom. His main research interests are critical discourse studies, multimodality, mass-mediated communication, and the semiotic and cognitive aspects of manipulation. The focus on the interactive experiences of audiences and on meaning interpretation. He is a member of the executive committee of the International Network, or CADAAD, or Critical Approaches to Discourse Synapses Across Disciplines. He is on the advisory board of the 12th International Conference on Multimodality. His work has been published in international journals, and his first monograph, Multimodality, Ideology, and Manipulation, was published Routledge Studies in Multimodality series in April 2025. Moreover, he has guest edited a special issue on multimodality and reception studies, which was published in August 2025 in the journal Visual Communication. His current project is on the representation of Ukrainian displaced people on British television, and he is guest editing with Dr. Iwa Konieczna, a special issue on approaching manipulation and persuasion in current discourses for the journal Pragmatics and Society. Once again, let's welcome our second lecturer, Dr. Jacopo Castaldi.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Carl. Can people hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. We hear you loud.
Perfect. Okay, and I'll just try and share my screen if that works. Just 1 second. One second, I'm just sharing the screen. Can you see the screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. The screen is
okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank Carl for the great introduction and Professor Ingilan for the invitation. My talk is going to be about linguistics, media discourse, and multimodality. And just to give a brief overview of the outline, I will introduce basic concepts in multimodality and social semiotics. Then we'll have a look at multimodality and media discourse more specifically. And I thought a good way of actually understanding what we're talking about is actually looking at some analysis. So we'll have a look at a small example from a project I'm currently working on before reaching some conclusions. So, multimodality. First of all, and I'm sure that most of you in the audience would be aware of this, but I think it's always worth sort of reminding people. First of all, when we talk about multimodality, we have to differentiate between two concepts that are often kind of fused together, but should be separate. And these are mode and medium. So multimodal and multimedia are two separate constructs. Now, generally speaking, a mode is a codified system for making and interpreting meaning in a specific context of use. So people would sometimes list, so to speak, different modes, and they would list things like spoken language, written language, visuals of different kinds, maps, charts, graphs, and so on, other kind of images, sound, music, colors, and so on. But the definition of mode is still hotly debated. So the idea is that the same mode can be deployed through different media. For example, spoken language as a mode can happen both in face-to-face communication and on the radio or on a recording on YouTube and so on and so forth. And at the same time, two or more modes can be deployed through the same media. So if we think about a video recording, we will find in there spoken language, written and possibly written language. We can find music, sound, moving images, and other visuals of different kinds. So multimodal research in the very basics is research that concerns itself with more than one mode of communication at the same time. And although there are several approaches to multimodal research, the primary shared assumption behind all of them is that communication, whether mediated or face-to-face, is largely achieved through the simultaneous use of different modes. Even right now in this very lecture, I'm using spoken language, I'm using my gestures, my facial expressions, and also we have the slides with written language, images, logos, and so on and so forth. So we can see how multimodality is all around us. Now, social semiotics is a specific approach to multimodality. In fact, it's one of the first ones, at least in the kind of Anglo-Saxon tradition, to approach the idea of multimodality. And Kress and Van Leeuwen were the people that kind of started to talk about this particular way of looking at communication. And what they did, they simply expanded the sociological study of language, so from Michael Halliday, systemic functional linguistics, to the sociological study of semiotic resources at large, where language is nothing but one of the available options. So effectively, although they all came from a linguistics background, like we do, they expanded, so to speak, the area of research to other ways of making meaning and communicating. And therefore, they were interested in three aspects: cataloging semiotic resources, their history and their meaning potentials, investigating how resources are used in specific contexts, and contributing to the development of new resources or to novel uses of existing ones. And for my personal interest and perspective, I would also add a further focus, which is investigating how semiotic modes and semiotic resources are interpreted in specific contexts. One final very important point to highlight is that, similar to language, all signs and their materiality, so all modes, are neither global nor ahistorical. So they vary through space, so geographical areas, through cultural areas, and they also vary through time. You know, a sign may mean something now, and it might have meant something different 30 years ago, and may mean something different in 30 years' time. So just to get a brief idea of what a mode could look like, and again, this is a very debated area, but you can see here a scheme of a theoretical mode, a model of a mode. So the yellow circle, the smaller one, so to speak, that you can see, is the material substrate. So each systems of sign would have some kind of materiality. So if we think about spoken language, the wavelength, if you like, the air and the sounds that make up phonemes and then words and so on and so forth would be the material substrate. And within this, the blue circles are the axis of organization of this material. And you can have a paradigmatic axis, which is individual items within the system, say individual words within spoken language, and syntagmatic axis of organization, some kind of syntax. So the way these different units are then put together to make coherent meanings. The middle circle, the semiotic resources, is what I've described as abstract potential metafunctional constructs. And this again comes from Halliday's systemic functional linguistics, and we'll have a look in more detail at what I believe this could be categorized as. And finally, you have the discourse semantics, which is where the abstract, so to speak, mode becomes actually meaningful. So spoken word in this specific context of a lecture becomes meaningful. So you can understand and interpret what I'm saying, because we all understand that this is a lecture and we expect certain purposes, functions, and conventions from it. And semiotic resources is or can be divided in 4 different areas. We can have discursive resources, pragmatic ones, stylistic, and textual. And different modes can contribute different resources to the overall composition. So, for example, the slides could, in this particular case, the slides can give the textual organization to the lecture. So they one of the things that they do, they function to logically organize the discourse. Right, so let's move on to some more practical areas. So let's have a look at multimodality and media discourse. Now, carrying out a multimodal text analysis wouldn't be much different from analyzing any kind of text, even if we were doing only a linguistic analysis. I guess the main difference here is that as well as looking at language, we look at other modes. So we could start at the top by identifying the main characteristics of the text. Who are the producers? What is the genre, the purpose, the target audience, and the medium of delivery? Then we would identify the semiotic modes that are utilized in that particular text. And I'm using text in a very broad sense. So there could be language, there could be paralanguage and nonverbal communication, there could be visuals of some kind, still images, moving images, color, and so on. There could be some sonic modes like sound and music, and also other kind of materialities depending on the text. Then the third step would be to analyze the semiotic modes and semiotic resources individually, relationally, so in conjunction, so to speak, and also holistically as a whole. Then the fourth step could focus on specific aspects of communication. We could look at social actors following Van Leeuwen. We could look at discourses following, for example, Fairclough. We could look at themes, tropes, metaphors, narratives, purposes, and so on and so forth. So at that point, we would kind of focus on one specific aspect of communication. And then we could also kind of bring the text within its social context and then analyze the connection between the text, discourse, and society. And again, we could look at intertextuality, interdiscursivity, if we're following, again, Fairclough and that kind of critical approach to discourse. We could look at ideology or connections to world events. So let's have a look at an example. Well, first of all, and I apologize for the kind of self-promotion, but the book that Carl kindly mentioned in the introduction is a good example of this particular approach at work. So the focus here was to corroborating multimodal critical discourse analysis with reception studies, so to analyzing how somebody watching documentaries in this particular case engaged with them and negotiated their meaning. And there was a double interest. There was an interest in the multimodal representation of ideologies in the travel documentaries themselves. And then there was an interest in the cognitive mechanisms that are at play in ideology building and manipulative processes through media interactions, which was done by looking at the interactions, the negotiation of meaning between an audience and these travel documentaries. But let's have a look at a more concrete example so that we understand a bit better what we're talking about. So let's say that for this particular purpose, we have these three research questions. So I'm interested at the moment in looking at how the Ukrainian displaced people following the war between Russia and Ukraine are represented on British television. So the first research question would be, how are the Ukrainians represented in the multimodal text that we're going to be looking at? The second question could be, how is Russia represented? And the third question, which will be kind of bringing together what we've talked so far, is what are the semiotic modes and semiotic resources contributions to these representations? So the text that we're going to be focusing on is the introduction. It's about 1 minute to a television program that was aired on the BBC on the 13th of March 2022. So not even about 2 weeks after Russia invaded the Ukraine. We're going to be watching the introduction, and then we're going to be looking at how we could approach its analysis. And please let me know if the video doesn't work.
Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, more than 2 million refugees have fled the country. It's the largest movement of people in Europe since the Second World War. Can you believe this? Can you? Hundreds of thousands of them have flowed through Lviv station. The story of this station is the story of Ukraine's people and the war that's consuming them.
Okay, I hope that you could see and hear the clip. So now the first step, with any other kind of text, whether we're doing conversation analysis, whether we're doing textual analysis, meaning looking at written language, the first thing to do would be to provide some kind of transcription of that text, right? So here is a screenshot from my transcription of that particular scene. So the first minute and 20 seconds of that program. And as you can see, the social actors, I'm following Van Leeuwen here, 1996, the social actors will be Ukraine, A1, the refugees, A2, Russia, A3, and Ukrainians as a whole, A4. And then you can see that you have the first three column there, sorry, the column 3 to 5 that provide the linguistic analysis, the next two that provide the audio analysis, and the next three that provide the visual analysis. So we're looking at the language, looking at the music and sound, and looking at the shots, the actual moving images. And in yellow, red, and green is my interpretation of whether that particular social actor has been depicted in a positive green, neutral yellow, or negative red fashion. So we can see here, for example, that the Ukraine, the refugees, and also Russia, in the linguistic analysis, is pretty much described with neutral terms. Whereas in terms of processes, we can see that there are some positive processes to describe Ukraine and the Ukrainians. And Russia, on the other hand, is described in an agentive negative process. And visually, as we'll see, we can see the Ukrainians, but we can't see Russia. We'll have a look at that in a second. So that would be the first step of our analysis. And now this analysis can be done manually, as I did it here, or it can be done through some multimodal annotation software, such as Elan, for example. Now, then more specifically, we could kind of look at mapping out, so to speak, the different contributions of semiotic modes and semiotic resources. So if we stick with the social actor of the Ukrainian displaced people, the second column will give us all the different modes that we have identified in this program. So we have spoken language, we have written language, sound, music, and moving image. And then the other four columns will describe the four different semiotic resources that we saw in the figure earlier on. So, for example, if you look at the discursive resource, then the spoken language provides some denotation. You know, there are words that provide some kind of, I guess, factual aspects, like millions of family, Ukrainian family, children, sometimes on their own. But we also have words that provide a connotative effect, some kind of emotional, if you like, connection with the viewer. So we have words like terrified, somewhere safe, safety, families ripped apart, and so on. The spoken language also provides a kind of narrative. So again, on the discursive level, that's the narrative which is established through dates, through references to specific points in time. So we have February 2022, we have now, we have one day, and also we have past and perfect tenses. And there are also elements of intertextuality and interdiscursivity, for example, with references to European war history. Now, if we go further down, then we can have a look also how the music, for example, contributes to the discursive connotation of again, feelings and emotions. We have like a medium tempo, minor key piece, which kind of gives this idea of tension, expectations, and clearly the moving images here provide a lot of information. And again, denotation would be shots of real life events on the platform, people on the platform waiting or trying to board the train, but also there are a lot of connotative elements. There's sadness, there are people crying, empathy, pride, support. And again, there could be some intertextual, interdiscursivity elements there. The idea of crisis, the discourse of resistance, and also perhaps the idea of Schindler's List, or simply the connection of trains in the Ukraine, with the connection of trains all around Europe during Nazi Germany that were transporting people to the concentration camps. Now we could do the same also for the other areas. So pragmatics, we can imagine, we can expect that a factual type of television program will be describing, narrating, and reporting things. These are all kind of informative text types, and all of them seem to be there. So when we have a look at the narrative, there's description and there is kind of information going on. So the communicative acts that are performed by the spoken language are to inform predominantly, but also to persuade. And there are, for example, here it's very interesting to see who does the information, who does the persuading in terms of the modes. And if you look at the music column for the pragmatic, there is primarily an element of persuasion there. So to persuade the viewer that the situation being shown in the film is one to be empathetic with. Again, we could do the same with stylistic and with textual elements, but again, this kind of gives an idea of how the different modes and semiotic resources contribution can be analyzed for a specific social actor. If you look at Russia, on the other hand, the first thing that we note is that we didn't really see Russia on the screen, so to speak. It was present in the spoken language, with connotations that were kind of violent. For example, we have words like attack, full-scale invasion, bringing war, and again, there are interdiscursivity elements of war, for example, that are connected to that particular social actor. And similarly, obviously, the music is kind of, again, it's the same music that we heard earlier, but obviously in the context of a victim and an aggressor, the sad music again persuade us to side with the victim against the aggressor, right? So that's like again a persuasive kind of strategy that the music mode allows the text producers to employ. So if you wanted to kind of summarize briefly the findings, I'm trying to bring this to a conclusion. So if we ask the first question was how are the Ukrainian displaced people represented, there's generally speaking a neutral or positive representation of the Ukrainian people who are shown as the victim, and rightly so, and empathy is created with the viewer. On the other hand, Russia is represented as a faceless threat. And when I say faceless, I literally mean that there was no visual, so to speak, representation of Russia as the aggressor, but the language, again, with attack, full invasion, and so on, full-scale invasion, and so on, gave the idea of this threat. So, if we think about this text along the lines of like rhetoric analysis, where based on the Aristotelian differentiation of rhetorics in ethos, pathos, and logos. So ethos looking at the credibility, so to speak, of the person informing us of something, pathos looking at the emotional connection, and logos looking at the argumentative solidity of the text. Then we can see how the modes and resources contribute to these three areas in different ways. So, for example, we see the host, the presenter of the program, walking along the Ukrainians in a very caring and benevolent way. So that kind of creates an image of the text producer or the person who's giving us the information as being somebody we can trust because they want the good for the people they're looking at. Pathos, the emotions that were primarily kind of addressed through music and moving image, although also some bits of language had there, and logos was especially addressed through the spoken language, with numbers given to make us realize the scale of the problem, and an invader victim or invader aggressor kind of narrative which was built linguistically and again made us somehow side with one side or the others, in this case the Ukrainian. And just to be clear, the point I'm doing this research is to show how a good representation of refugees or people at war can be done. Because very often when we've had other kinds of refugees in this country, in the UK, from Syria and from Afghanistan, very often the media representation was very negative. Whereas in this case, it's very positive. And obviously there are many kind of, geopolitical reasons for it. But my point is that from a semiotic point of view, this is actually a very good example of how refugees and people in need should be represented. That's why I'm focusing on it. So to conclude, we're kind of trying to discuss here how applied linguistics can also be not just about language, so about moving from linguistics to multimodality. And this is based on the idea that virtually all communication, regardless of the medium, is multimodal. So if we only focus on the language, on linguistic analysis, then we end up having incomplete accounts of the context, the mechanisms, the purposes, and the effects of communicative exchanges and events, which is why a multimodal approach is very often necessary, because they allow us to have a better understanding of what is going on. And finally, so a social semiotic approach to multimodality provides, I believe, stronger theoretical and methodological foundations to investigate communicative exchanges and events, regardless of the medium that it is they are delivered through. And on that, I end. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'll be happy to take any questions you have.
Thank you so much as well, Dr. Castaldi, for that very enlightening presentation. Your discussion has given us a deeper understanding of how language, media, and multimodality interact to shape meaning in our world. And on that, to further deepen our discussion, once again, we now open the floor for your questions and insight, now led by Sebastian Rhodes C. Maginay, Language Student Society External Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Now, with all of the knowledge and wisdom that we have gained after listening to our second lecture, I'm sure your mind is currently full of thoughts and questions. So, if you're open to share your takeaways about the lecture or you want to raise a question, feel free to raise your hand so you will be entertained. And if you have trouble accessing your microphone, you may also type in the chat box your comments or questions. So now I'll be calling someone raising their hand. Okay, so there's no one going to raise a question to our second lecturer. Okay, there's someone. Okay, please correct me if I'm wrong if I mispronounce your name. May I call on Kyle? Kyle, Miss Hannah Kylenia. Miss Hannah Kylenia, please open your microphone.
Yes, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Um, Hello, Dr. Castaldi. Thank you for delivering such an insightful lecture. So you mentioned that in social semiotics, meaning depends on context. So in a culturally diverse country like ours, how can researchers properly account for cultural differences when interpreting multimodal messages so that the analysis remains fair and accurate across different audiences?
Very good. That's an excellent question, Hannah. I think the main idea is to try and understand how science evolved in a specific culture or in a specific community of practice. So it's important to understand that, for example, what my analysis was based on was a British or European Western understanding of certain ways of communicating. So, for example, if you think about music, right, there is this idea that the key of a musical piece, whether, for example, if it's in a minor key or in a major key, would have a certain emotional associations to go with it. Now, for example, minor keys would have associations of sadness, of nostalgia, and so on and so forth. But that is, for example, something which is embedded within the cultural makeup of Western European kind of cultures. It could be different elsewhere. So it's certainly very important to not to simply understand the mechanics of the different modes, so what they're actually doing, but how they may have a specific significance, a specific importance within the context. So take, for example, religion. Now, if we think about a country which is predominantly Muslim and a country which is predominantly Catholic or Christian, there could be very different mental associations that are made between members of that society to a symbol. Let's say, for example, the symbol of the cross. Okay. So if I am looking at a specific text, one thing to bear in mind is who produced that text, and most importantly, who is the text intended for. So in my case, it was a British television program, so we can expect that the audience would be British people. And we can make a set of assumptions also based on our knowledge of the socioeconomic makeup of British society on how people would be interpreting certain signs. So I would say that's probably the best way to approach it, is to consider who produced whatever you're looking at and who was it for, and what kind of cultural assumptions and expectations can be made between the producer and the receiver of that text.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your participation, Miss Hannah Kyle. Now I'll be calling on another participant. Okay, someone raised their hand. Miss Joyce? Miss Erica Joyce Seprado. Please unmute your microphone, please.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good day, Dr. Castaldi. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation on multimodal representations. Just a quick question. Since you mentioned that eros, pathos, and logos were all evident across different modes, may I ask which of these rhetorical appeals do you think had the strongest impact on shaping the viewer's perception of the conflict?
Okay, so now we're moving, and this is my other big area of interest, into the interpretation of a text. Now, one thing that reception studies in multimodal discourse have shown is that we cannot expect to have the same interpretation from different people. So, first of all, I don't think there's so okay. Let's say that some people may be more persuaded by the emotive aspects of the representation, and that could be because those kind of people are themselves more sensor type of people, so they're more susceptible, so to speak, to emotions. They're more emotive people themselves. There may be other people that are not really too emotive or emotional and may be only persuaded through reasoning and through providing arguments. So I don't think that any of those three areas are predominant. I think they're all there because there is an understanding that different people would be swayed and persuaded in different ways. So I think they all need to be there. I think the one thing that is key, though, is the ethos dimension. Because regardless of whether you will engage more with the emotive aspect of the argument or with the logical aspects of the argument, what you all want to know is that you can trust the person that is giving you the information. So I think that actually out of those three, the key one to establish from the part of the text producer is a credible source, a credible informant, so to speak. So that then if we trust the person and believe that the person wants to genuinely give us truthful information about what they're seeing, then whether or not we are swayed by the emotive or the argumentative aspects of that information doesn't really matter anymore. So yeah, that was a good question, actually, one that I never really considered, but that would be my answer. If you look at some in pragmatics and in cognitive pragmatics, there's a communication theory called relevance theory, and the proponents also talk about the idea of epistemic vigilance, which would be our critical filters when we receive information. And they talk exactly about that. They talk about two levels of epistemic vigilance: vigilance towards the source, so towards the informant, and vigilance towards the content. Now, what they say is that if we do not trust the source, we will not be persuaded by the content. So I think that in that case, if we move down to the Aristotelian triad, then the ethos is the one that needs to be established first and foremost. So people need to be able to trust the person giving them information. and then it doesn't matter if it's persuaded on an emotive or argumentative level. But that was an excellent question, Erica.
Thank you so much, Dr. Castaldi. I'm looking forward to read more of your work. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Miss Erica. And thank you, Mr. Castaldi, for answering Miss Erica's question. Now we'll be moving on. I believe we can cater another question. Let me call on Bailal Trilas Cunha. Mr. Bailal Trilas Cunha, you may open your microphone.
Hello, am I audible? Am I heard?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Perfectly.
thank you. So before I state my question, I would like to thank you, Mr. Castaldi, for giving us a comprehensive discussion about your topic. Now, I've understood from your discussion like how these linguistic choices, visual rhetorics, and multimodal designs contribute to information ethics. What I'm just curious, like, where do we draw the line in doing these practices, or do we draw the line to tailoring the content for specific audiences and crossing the line into bias or propaganda? Because what criteria and analytical methods can we use to identify and critique such boundaries across different cultural contexts?
Again, very good question. So I guess part of the answer to that question goes back to my answer to the first question. So obviously, there is an element of carefully considering the context in which a specific text is produced, distributed, and consumed. Now, one thing if you look at the book that I mentioned, one thing that you see is that when analyzing a context, when analyzing a specific text, there is a lot of extra work that needs to go around, for example, similar representations of the same topic in different contexts. For example, one of the documentaries in the book is about, I'm talking about a region which is fairly close to where you are, Burma, Myanmar. So one of the programs is about Burma. And there is, for example, a short description in there of the time where Burma was part of the British Empire in this documentary that I watched. And the description that is given is almost as if the British Empire was a good colonizer, so to speak. Now, what I had to do was to go and look at history books. I had to actually move into history and look at other accounts of the British Empire times in Myanmar to find out contrasting views. Now, you can't just say, for example, that somebody is trying to be manipulative or something is just propaganda, because it's difficult to judge the intention of a text producer. But what you can say is that although the text producer is providing this particular representation of the phenomenon, there is a totally different one which is also provided elsewhere, which this particular text doesn't take into account. Then I think it's up to the reader of your work to kind of make their own mind up, whether or not to think, okay, so they maybe purposely left out information because they knew it would go against their narrative, or maybe they just made a mistake and didn't do it. So that would be more a matter of, as you say, subjective interpretation of something. But what we can do is being rigorous, both in the analysis of the text itself and into trying to understand what kind of representation is provided, and on the interdisciplinary, if you like, research around the specific topic, so that you can show not only what you find out in the specific text, but also what other available discourses and texts are around that same topic and what they say. So I think it's a matter of being rigorous. Then whether or not people believe you, or whether or not what you say is believable, it's a matter, for the person reading you or listening to you to make a judgment on.
Thank you, Sir Castaldi.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bailal Trilas Cunha.
And we have another question here that is typed on the chat box. So I will read it aloud for you, Mr. Castaldi. So the question is, how do you maintain credibility or correctness of your result when you are analyzing a political song's lyrics and music, like the intensity, tempo, and meter? I am currently analyzing a campaign song and I am curious to know where I should where I should limit and indulge myself on analyzing music as a linguist. Should one ask a professional in the music field, or is it dependent on which analytical tool or framework you are using to analyze?
Okay, again, that's a very good question. Well, obviously, there is you need to have a certain understanding of what it is that you're looking at. Now, obviously, we are linguists, right? We do language, so we're more kind of versed into analyzing grammar, syntax, and what that could mean. Now, obviously, if you are to look at different modes, then you will have to familiarize yourself with the same, so to speak, grammar and syntax of those other modes. So there are very good books out there. And there are very good books for linguists. So there's a book on music by